Thank you for joining me. This is going to be a jelly cookie tutorial. These are them. It's hard to see the depth inside. This is my strawberry flavor. And this is just using an alternate for the sugar coating, a little powdered sugar look. The reason I'm showing both, this is the Martha Stewart Carrera Marbles, and for some reason I haven't been able to find it in my craft stores lately, but it is available online. I just bought some. I believe it's Create for Less is where I found it online this time. This is actually micro sand in the right color, so it's just decor sand, but it's the finest grain. So they're both passable. I prefer the Martha Stewart Carrera Marbles. Something that you can't see very well here, but inside, because of the way that it's made, there are some of the Carrera Marbles underneath a layer of the jelly, and it gives it a little bit more depth than the sand. You don't see any grains underneath the jelly there. Anyhow, here we are. I'm going to start. The cookies themselves are made with Ecru in Primo. I conditioned it, rolled it flat. This is my second setting on the pasta roller, so it's the second largest setting. It's a number 2 on my Atlas. I know some pasta rollers are in reverse, but it's the second largest setting. I take a round cutter. This is 3/4 of an inch across, just if you're wondering, but you cut out 2. From here, I take a little heart-shaped cutter. You could do any one. A flower one would be really cute. Or if you have 2 size flowers, you try to center it in the very center, push down, of course bring that out, and then you have your little cookie cutter center. It's a lot easier to do if you're sitting straight over it. I'm kind of at a distance because I have the camera between me and my hands, which is why things look kind of awkward sometimes. Hopefully soon I'll get a different tripod and start using my actual camera. Anyhow, the next part is making the jelly and sandwiching some jelly in. Let me move the paper here forward so you can see this. I have just some TLS spread on my paper. It's another pile of TLS, and this one is actually, let's see if I could scoot that over a little bit more. This over here is TLS with red powdered food coloring in it. Here is my red powdered food coloring. It says Chef Master. Just got it at a cooking store a while back. It's usually used for coloring frostings. I take a toothpick and I pick a little bit up. I dump it on my white TLS, the translucent liquid Sculpey, the liquid Sculpey for those of you who are new to polymer clay. I just mix until you get all of those little clumps broken up. There we go. So from here, you put a little bit on the center of the full cookie. So this is the one without the hole in it. I get some on there. I don't do it too thick because I don't want a lot of it to squeeze out the sides. It's okay if a little squeezes out the sides because it will look more real. Then I'll put the other one on top. So there you go. So that is the first layer of jelly and your cookie. Just try to match them up. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is take some TLS. I squeeze it to make it tacky in my fingers and get out the big globs. I very carefully tap the top to get it sticky all over the top of the heart. The reason that you're being careful here is that you don't pick up the jelly from the inside. You don't want to get the red smeared all over the outside. I will put it on the back too. I'm just rolling it on my finger, and then you could even go around the edges. And now for our powdered sugar coating, the little crystally sugars that you see. This has the Carrera marbles glitter left. I'm on my last bit. Ordered some more. I don't have it yet, so I go ahead and put it on in there, and then I flip it over. Try to get it on the sides too, and you'll notice that you have the white glitter all over the top of the heart. I do that on purpose. Then you cook this. Once you're done cooking, this is it. I just finished cooking this before doing the tutorial. So you can see what it actually looks like. You see the white bits. Now from here, you take a little bit more of your red jelly color and very carefully go in there. This still has translucence to it when it bakes, so when it comes out, you will see some of those little white bits of glitter underneath, but it really does add a bit of depth, and I think it looks more like real strawberry jam or jelly. So once you paint this, you bake it again. So that would be finished after it finishes baking, and it's a pretty matte color. It doesn't cook shiny. But here we go. This is the completely finished. I didn't do 2 bakings since we've started, so you're not seeing what that comes out like. It's just a little bit matte, that's all. So what we do when it's all done is I put a little triple thick on. I'm using that as gloss glaze for right now. I will use the Sculpey gloss glaze as well, but the triple thick I like a little bit better than the new gloss glaze. I still prefer the old Sculpey gloss glaze. Hopefully they'll bring it back. I don't like the reformula, but you just go ahead and you do a gloss glaze on the center. So with the triple thick, and you let it dry. Once you let it dry, it's nice and glossy and glassy, and you can leave it as is. If you're using it for earrings or a charm, it's probably just fine. This could be done in different sizes. If you do them tiny for dollhouse furniture, it is going to be smaller than this. This I use for earrings and charms. But if you do want to make them smaller, you can just roll it out on a thinner setting on your pasta roller. And of course the cutouts will be smaller, but it would be the same thing. You can use different colors of powdered food coloring. It's not something I don't know if anybody else is using the powdered food coloring at all or not. But I can tell you this saves a lot of time, and sometimes the pastels, they're really great for coloring TLS, but they don't always fully integrate. Sometimes you still get little spots of color where the the powdered food coloring mixes really easily, and they don't stay. You don't see the granules in them if you give even a moderate amount of mixing. When I do use pastels, I just know that it's going to leave some of those granules of color in there. So that's pretty much it. That's our tutorial for the Jammie Dodgers jam cookies, strawberry jelly cookies. They're always a favorite around the holiday. I do have a written tutorial. It will be up later this afternoon, much like my others. That gives you the exact size of everything, even the little heart cutter, in case you were wanting the exact same size. And that's about it. So thank you for joining me. If you're wondering how to make this into jewelry after it's hard, I take a safety pin and I put it right down through here and stick it through until it comes out the back. And once I remove that, I put in my head pin. Now, I did want to mention eye pins versus head pins because a lot of people ask me why I don't use eye pins. It's because I've bought charms, kawaii style charms in the past for my daughter, and everyone who's used an eye pin that I've gotten so far, the eye pin falls out within 2 or 3 wearings of her using it. I don't know if she's just rough at school, but I don't want that happening to people who buy my charms, so I use a head pin. It goes all the way through. A little glue is not going to come off and worry about it. There's no glue in the pieces because you don't need them. The head pin goes all the way through, so it's much stronger. That's why I do it. You just have to put up with a little bit of that little nail looking part on the bottom. Thanks for joining me. Bye.